What's the deal with M-War?
It's a massive scale World War III revolutionary war game.
The year 2020. Russia, now the world's leading supplier of oil and natural gas, spends billions on the biggest arms buildup since the Cold War.
So how excited are you to actually let people play it here today at Ubidays?
Yeah, it's great people can get their hands on it, because it's always, you know, I talk about the game a lot, sort of blah, 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 but the big moment for people, I think, is when they can actually pick it up and try it, because it's really one thing to hear, you know, about the voice command or whatever, but to actually use it and talk to your troops and have them follow your orders and be in control of this massive battle is something else, yeah. Yeah,
it's something truly unique. How have you seen anyone coming to grips with it, and how does that feel to see people actually playing it?
It's great. I think the first thing is accessibility, because it lets anyone play it. The second thing is it gives you like an emotional, you know, a connection to your soldiers that people haven't had in a strategy game before. It's like as soon as you talk to these guys, they respond to you, they're following your orders. Suddenly they're human beings and they're soldiers and they're real characters on the battlefield. They're not just little, you know, toy guys in a sandbox kind of thing. I actually don't think we've given much attention to conventions in RTS at all. I think this is much more like doing a war game and a simulation, so our inspiration is much more from tactical and strategic shooters, or even from sports games, or even from the Wii. You know, you're taking something realistic, like a real full-scale epic battle, and you're allowing people to play that in a very natural way. Whereas PC strategy games are something, they're really their own thing. You know, you have a magic factory and it magically makes tanks, and you click on things and there's magic resources, and I don't think traditional RTS is really even meant to be a simulation of an actual battle. And they're kind of evolving like that. They're sort of putting things like that in. And I think Company of Heroes, for example, is, you know, a fantastic game where they're putting the tactical elements in, but they're kind of bolting them together with this traditional sort of old school model of building and resource. It's a business simulation.
One of the biggest changes for me in my head is the camera.
Yep.
Because you have to always think about changing your camera to the best perspective so you get a good overview of it. And perhaps bigger change than actually moving the units around. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, actually, absolutely. I think it was one of the first things we thought of when we were looking at how to move on to console, and we looked at other genres that have made the transition from PC to console, in particular RPG games. You know, because games like Neverwinter Nights or Baldur's Gate have very, very similar point of view and interface to a top-down 2D RTS, and I think BioWare's big innovation with Star Wars, you know, was to bring the camera down and actually put the player on the field, you know, from the point of view of the character, and give them that field of view. I think it's really essential to a console game. And so you can have real line of sight. If someone's hidden behind a hill, they're hidden behind a hill. You don't have to fly over and, you know, navigate via us artificially making black blobs on the map to simulate what you can or can't see. You really can. And so you get a lot of realism benefits. So helicopters, which have altitude so they can see further and over line of sight, genuinely have value for scouting and so on.
So you're showing off the campaign mode as well. Can you tell us something about that?
Yeah, so the campaign mode, the big focus for that is the multiplayer campaign. So we have a massive multiplayer campaign. So all the players all around the world are participating in this same sort of huge World War III meta campaign. And then you can also play that in single player as well. So the idea, I guess, it's a little bit like a Risk style campaign. You have to conquer, you know, the globe territory by territory, but there's a couple of things we wanted to do that were a little bit different. One is you're in command of your own, you know, one particular army, one task force, so you don't fight every mission each turn. It's up to you to choose one mission each turn and make that the most important mission. So this turn you might do a sabotage behind the enemy lines, or you might do a conquest mission on the front line. So even though it's this non-linear campaign, we wanted to make them really feel like a mission and feel like it's a story that you're taking your soldiers through.
So where are you right now in the development cycle?
We're at beta, so we're like feature complete. We're just focusing on polish and optimization and balancing. We're about to go into a closed beta test, and then we'll see the feedback we get from that, and then we've got a few months to integrate that and really polish stuff, and then we're releasing in October.
This is the end.